Now for class 12, I'm starting with the chapter that is the end of bipolarity. Now this cartoon, okay, it might come in exam as picture study. Now what does it indicating? Now it indicating the fall of Berlin Wall or the collapse of Wall. Now what does it indicate? It indicate the end of Cold War. Okay, it's indicate the end of Cold War. Now you just look the map of Berlin. Now West Berlin, it follows capitalism, whereas East Berlin, it follows socialism. Clear. Now this wall, it just divide the communist and the capitalist. Now this fall or the collapse of Berlin Wall took place in the year 1989, and from there it is known as the end of Cold War. Okay, now this wall was built in the year 1961. Now what are the topics we need to cover? The first one is the Soviet system. Now what do you mean by the Soviet system? Now Soviet system, simple, the state control economy, that is called the Soviet system, which was government implemented from after just the Russian revolutions in the year 1917. Okay, that means mostly the economy will be controlled by the state. Now next point, what we need to know it about Gorbachev and the disintegrations. That means how far Gorbachev is responsible or was responsible for disintegrations of USSR, or what are the policies Gorbachev followed at the time. Now Gorbachev was the last leader of USSR, and his ruling period was from 1985 to 1991. Now generally Gorbachev introduced two policies. One is Glasnost and another one is Perestroika. Now Glasnost means economic reforms. That means more and more he's tried emphasis on open market system, and Perestroika means more and more emphasis on democratizations. Okay, that means he laid emphasis more on open market system and also towards democracy, and thus it little bit it was totally opposed of the communist ideology. Now what's the impact of the Gorbachev policies? Now generally the policies of the economics and political reforms to democratize the systems by Gorbachev was opposed by the leader within the Communist Party, and thus there was a tussles. And in December 1991, under the leadership of Boris Yeltsin, an elected leader, Russia, Ukraine and Baltics declared themselves independent. And even third one is that there was formations of Commonwealth of Independent State. That means the elected leaders of Russia, Ukraine and Belarus from the associations to replace the crumbling union of USSR. Understood? So that means these groups of Commonwealth countries under the leaderships of Boris Yeltsin, they stopped the hardcore communist, okay, who were against these reform policies of Gorbachev. Next thing, what we did to know now, that is what were the reason for disintegrations of USSR. First one is the Gorbachev reforms policy, already I discussed. Next one is the economic stagnancy. Now economic institutions fail to meet the operations the aspirations of the people. Now already they are following the communist ideology, and they were not in favor of the open market system. So definitely the market was stagnant, and even it failed to fulfill the choice of the people. Now for that, what happened? The people started protesting, and they are more and more in favor of open market system or liberal economy. Clear. Now next one is political and administrative cost. Now Communist Party was dictator, and thus they were not at all accountable. Okay, they failed to fulfill the needs of the people with the time. Fourth one is the rise of nationalism and desire for sovereignty led to revolutions in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Ukraine and Georgia. Clear. So that means this is also the psychological matter. That means people started urging for more and more towards democracy. Clear. Now next one is the effect of disintegrations. Now what were the result or impact of this after disintegrations of Russia? Now first one is that the disintegrations of Soviet Union mean the end of Cold War. So first thing this is, and that means also there is the end of the conflict between the socialist and the capitalist. Next one, we can say that it might be emergence of unipolar world. That means only capitalist America will exist, or we can say emergence of multipolar world. That means more and more emergence of group of nations. Okay. Now these two are playing an important role in the world economy. Now third one is that US capitalist economy was dominant economic system internationally. That means more and more trend towards capitalism. And institute fourth one is that World Bank and IMF become the powerful advisors, and they started giving loan for further transitions to capitalism. And fifth one is that end of Soviet bloc means the emergence of many new states. Okay, from itself Soviet Union, 15 independent countries emerge. Now fifth one, that is what do you mean by shock therapy? Now shock therapy was a painful process, means generally from transition from authoritarian socialist system to a democratic capitalist system, which was influenced by World Bank and IMF in Russia. Okay, now generally through it, the largest state-controlled industries, it was means it was purchased by the capitalist of USA. Um, Now, thus it just read like a shocked to different peoples. Means even it generally it destroy the old system of social welfare. Okay, and even it created the largest garage sale in history, because already state controlled industrial complex lost about 90% of its industry through sales to private companies, and generally these private companies owners are from USA. Okay, now next one is that India and the post communist country. Now generally India has maintained a very good relations with all the post communist countries, and also maintained good relations with Russia. And even India is benefited from Russia on issues of Kashmir, energy supply, sharing informations on international terrorism, etc. So thus India is maintaining a very good relations with Russia also. Now little bit means one thing it has been introduced, that is about the Arab Spring. Okay, now generally I'm just telling you in very short that Arab Spring, it was introduced in the year 2000, means it started from 2009. Actually it was a movement in the that started in Tunisia and spread to all the Arab speaking countries in the world. Okay, now uh, generally, it was an anti-government protest uprising and armed rebellion that spread across much of the Arab world in 2010. It started from Tunisia, clear, and then in Bahrain, then in Syrian and Yemen, and later in Libyan. Now, these are the five countries you need to know. The main thing of this revolt is the causes of unemployment, then economic disbalance, okay, corruptions, and also the dictatorship form of government. Generally, they laid more and more emphasis towards democratic government. So only you need to know about Tunisia, Bahrain, Syrian civil war, Yemen, and Libyan civil war. The common cause, most the common causes were, again I am repeating, unemployment, economic conditions, corruptions. Okay, and more aspirations for democracy. Okay, that's the thing I'll provide you in a short note. Clear? Okay, thank you.